A gift or a purpose is something that comes to you naturally or come with ease, and others may have to work on, or for them it's just not something that is as easy. His testimony will show people that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Not even at the end of the tunnel, there is light in the tunnel. Hi, my name is Emma. Welcome to Emmatron, where we talk faith, health, and lifestyle. In today's video, I'm going to talk about finding your purpose and your direction in life. That's something that I feel like was confirmed to me late last year. So I'm going to talk about what is a gift and a purpose and what the Bible says about it, how to find your own purpose and what confirmation you should be looking for. And then 3 is what to do when you know what your purpose is. And I will also share my own testimony and how I find out what my purpose is, which is YouTube, obviously. So we hear it all the time, people saying, oh, that's my gift or that's my purpose. But what do people mean by that? A gift or a purpose is something that comes to you naturally or come with ease, and others may have to work on, or for them it's just not something that is as easy. And your gift may not be something that you originally like or enjoy. In my case, I didn't, and that's something that I definitely had to work on. But ultimately, if God gives it to you, it's for a reason. Romans 12:6 says that we have different gifts according to the grace given to each one of us. Although the word gifts can be misleading, gifts are not meant to be kept. Like, they're not decorations that you just put up and keep to yourself. They are tools meant to be used and meant to bring others to God. So we need to humble ourselves when certain things come to us naturally and we just say that we're gifted. Yes, you are, but that gift is not for you. It is for others. 1 Peter 4:10 also says each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others. This is what the text says about gifts. Again, it's meant to serve others, not to be kept. So now we're going to talk about how to figure out what your purpose is and how to recognize when you do get confirmation that it is. Yesterday, I was talking to a very good friend of mine. I know he's going to be watching this, so hi, James. But talking to him in that conversation where together we were able to find out what his purpose is what led me to do this video today. But pretty much he texted me, and I'll put up on the screen what it was exactly, but he was pretty much asking me what his purpose was or what his gift was. That's not how he worded it. When I read it, I knew that's what he was asking me. I asked him to call me because reading it, I'm like, sir, this is not a text conversation. Like, we need to talk on the phone. But the main reason why I wanted that conversation to be over the phone is because I'm not God, and only God and him know his purpose. I don't. So I can guide the conversation in a way so that he can find the answers to himself, but I don't have the answers. So I led the conversation with a question, which if you don't know what your purpose or gift is, I want you to ask yourself the same, which was, what is something that you do naturally or just that come easy for you? What is something that others like compliment you on, or others just point out because for you it just comes so naturally and with so much ease, but to others that might not be the case? So I asked him that, and he said 3 things. He said that when he walks in a room, he changes the atmosphere, and that's not a gift that I have. Like, if I walk in a room, nobody could care less. Then he said that this lady the other day had told him, like, you should really be a preacher because of the way he carries himself and because of the way he talks and because of his energy. He finished all this by saying, oh, but I'm very antisocial. Like, I'm not social, so that's probably not for me. Without even knowing, by saying all this to me, he was answering his own question. And in the text that he sent me, he's mentioning the things that he's gone through, which I'm not going to talk about in this story because it's not my story to tell. But I promised him that one day I will invite him on my channel and I will let him share his testimony, because the things that God has done in his life are just so good for him not to share. And that's exactly what his purpose is. The hardships that he went through and that God delivered him from are not meant to be kept. Like, they're not meant for him to just enjoy and be like, okay, I'm saved now, thank you, God. He is meant to share his story with others. He's meant to preach and help people who've been in similar situation or who are going exactly what he gone through and God delivered him from. And I told him that because of his story and his hardships and the way he grew up and his upbringing, he can touch people that I can't. Like, I know that I can touch certain people, but I may not be able to touch people as much as him because my background is so different and I may not be able to relate to them. But because of his story and his past, which again, I won't share because it's not for me to say, but like, you can touch so many souls and they will listen to you because they will see themselves in you. And they'll see that if God did it for you, I know he can do it for me too. His testimony will show people that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Not even at the end of the tunnel. There is light in the tunnel. You just have to go to him. God didn't just deliver him for him to just move on quietly and go about his life, but he did it so that he can heal others, and that's purpose. That's his gift. When he said, but I'm antisocial, so it's probably not for me, or I probably can't do it, I knew that the enemy was at work. That's how the enemy moves. If you're meant to preach, he will make you feel mute and he'll make you feel like you're antisocial. If you're meant to sing and worship, he will make you drown into secular music. If you're meant to teach, he will make you lose your patience. He will throw the opposite at you so that you lose confidence and don't follow God's plan for you. The enemy attacks what he fears, and he fears purpose, because by following your purpose, you will be able to bring more souls to God, and that's the last thing that the enemy wants. Before I move on to the third part where I talk about what to do once you know your purpose, I want to share how I found out about my purpose and what my confirmation looked like. So in college, people will always come to me for advice, mostly my friends, but not just my friend. I was an RA in college, so that was part of my job, and I know that as a friend you're supposed to help them and like give them advice, but with me it was just on a different scale. I will always remember the time I went to Dubai. I went to Dubai for almost 2 weeks, and when I came back, the amount of text messages that I had that were obviously asking me about Dubai, but then followed by just asking to just set up a time with me to just talk, because they're like, hey, well, you were gone so much hyping, I just need to talk to somebody, I just need advice. And I remember being so annoyed, and that's what I mean by your gift may not be something that you originally like. I'm reading those text messages and I'm like, I've been gone for 2 weeks. I got back, I'm behind on my homework. I used to work 3 jobs in college. So in my head, I'm like, this is not my job. Like, it's not my job to do. I literally had to schedule people. I was like, hey, I can talk to you Tuesday at 2 p.m. I can talk to you Wednesday at 5. And I'm like, why am I doing this? And I used to get so annoyed. And I remember one day, one of my friends was crying to me about a situation that she had gone through. And I walked her through the whole thing. Like, I gave her encouragement, I gave her advice, and I just pretty much helped her manage the whole situation. And then after, she thanked me and she was like, Emma, you should really keep doing this. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you helped me so much, but you can help so many more others if that was just your job. And I was like, I don't want to be a therapist. I just don't want to do that. Like, it's just, I don't think it's for me. I just want to do it. And she was like, there's so many other things that you can do. You can be a life coach. You can just motivate and encourage others. She said, you're doing it with me and I appreciate it, but what if you had a platform where you did what you just did for me just now? She said that and I was like, oh wow, yeah, you're right. And then I just went about my business because I was like, yeah, no. I think when she was saying that to me, I was still in nursing school. So in my head, I'm like, no, I know what my path is. I know what my plan. And that's the issue. It was my plan, not God's. But I'm like, there is none of what you just said that's part of my plan, the one that I made up in my head. But then I got more and more confirmation from different people just telling me, wait, that was really good. You should write it down. Like, oh, wait, can you say it again? Like, that was so good. And I was like, thanks, guys. But then I paused and I asked myself, why is it so easy for me, though? I appreciate you guys coming for my help, but why was it so easy for me to come up with that? But for you, you needed guidance, you know? And that's what I mean by that's what a gift is. It's meant to help others, but to you, you have it already. I have that gift. And that's when I realized that encouragement, or wisdom, like my friend called it, and just giving people advice is my calling. That is my gift. That is my purpose. That is God's plan. Now, let me tell you how the enemy started attacking me once I got that confirmation. Doing YouTube has been on my heart since I was 14 years old. And I'll be honest, back then, it was not for the glory of God. I just wanted to do YouTube because I was like, oh, I feel like that's something I should be doing. When I got the confirmation that that was my gift, I'm like, okay, like the way that I reach more souls is through social media. And the enemy just started attacking me by telling me I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I don't speak well enough. My accent, because I grew up in Paris, French is my first language, my accent and the way I talk used to be my biggest insecurity. So recording a video in English for 20, 30 plus minutes, editing it where I literally have to listen to myself talk over and over felt like torture, let alone post it for everyone to see. I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. Even if that's my purpose, like I just can't bring myself to do it. But that was just the enemy working. Again, the opposite of what I'm meant to do. But I pushed through and I posted my first video in December. And I'm already starting to get comments of people telling me like, wait, you've helped me with this. Or like, wait, I was going through the same thing and you're right. Like I should manage it that way. And that is even more confirmation that that is my purpose and that I'm doing the right thing. I am following God's plan and it's working because it can't not work. God can't fail. So as long as you're following his plan, it can't fail. And in the beginning, when I posted my first video, I was so proud of myself and I knew that God was proud of me. So when I got 7 views, I was like, God, for what? Like, why am I following your plan if this is what the result is going to be? I spent 2 weeks editing this video and this is the reward. I was like, I don't want to do this. But then I remembered 1, obedience over numbers, and 2, I should not compare myself to others because we all have different gifts and we're all meant to touch different souls. If one person was helped, that's enough. Like, that's plenty. Now let's talk about what to do when you know what your purpose is and you've received confirmation from God. You won't feel 100% ready, that's normal, but if God called you and if it's his plan, he will equip you for it. I'm still at work, I study and I learn, and there is a part in the Bible, I forgot where, that says that leaders and teachers will be judged more severely because they're, I don't say responsible, but they have an influence on other people's souls because people look up to them. So another reason why I did not want this gift, because I'm like, I don't want to be judged more severely. Like, I don't want it. But when God calls you, you have to follow him. But that's why I'm so much more intentional, because I know my why. I know my purpose now, and I know I have to read my word more, and I know that I have to follow him because others are learning from me and others are using me for guidance. I just want to go back to my friend that I was talking about, James. I think it took 9 minutes. I remember we were on the phone and I was like, look, it's 9 minutes into this call and we already know what your purpose is. But being a preacher may seem so big. It's like, wait, how do I get there? And I was like, hey, don't look at the top right now. Just think about the next step. And for him, the next step is just going back to his church. For me, the first step looked like watching more sermons and reading more before I started my YouTube channel. It was buying a camera. It was, again, step by step until you get to where you know God is calling you to be. Just following his plan. And it's going to take time, but it's because there is learning and growth that needs to happen in the meantime. If you've made it this far in this video, 1, you should subscribe. And 2, if you still don't know what your purpose is, do these 5 things. 1, pray and ask God to show you. 2, ask yourself, what do you do with ease and what do you do naturally? 3, listen to what others keep affirming to you. It could be your friends, like in my case. It could be strangers, like in my friend's case. But if somebody keeps telling you over and over that you're really good at something and it's happening multiple times, that may be confirmation. 4, watch how the enemy attack. That's your cue. That's like the cherry on top telling you like, hey, the enemy is working so hard right now because he really doesn't want you to do this. And 5, walk in obedience even if it's uncomfortable. Trust me, putting up a tripod, setting a camera, and talking to a camera is very uncomfortable for me. Editing is very uncomfortable for me. I get a little bit more comfortable after each video that I post, but I still get a little bit self-conscious. But if you know what your purpose is, please tell me what it is in the comment. What's your purpose? What did your confirmation look like? And what steps are you actively taking to actually follow God's plan? I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and share. And I will see you all next Sunday. Bye.